Ahoy, shipmates! Thought I'd take the old Iron Horse over to the Isle of Wight. It's a lovely day. Make our way up to Ashey Down to have a look at the sea mark. Well, at least I'm not late. There's a little space for the Iron Horse right at the front of the ferry here. One of the advantages is taking the motorcycle. You can squeeze right up the front. You can be last to arrive and first to leave. Not a particularly full ferry. Quite busy here in the port of Southampton. There you go, there's old ferry cam over there. Somewhere on top of that white building. And there's the Hythe ferry, which is not running at the moment due to the problem with the pier over on Hythe. In fact, we don't know when it's coming back into service. It's a bit of a shame. I quite like the Hythe ferry. I used it a lot to get to and from the port of Southampton over to Hythe. Meet up a few friends over there. It's very handy indeed, and also quite a fun day out in the water. Just like being on the Red Funnel Ferry is a fun day out in the water. Get to see all sorts of this. We have the Red Kestrel here. That is the freight-only service to the Isle of Wight. Space for a number of lorries, I think 12 lorries with drivers, and then there might be space for an additional couple of trailers on top of that. You can see it's a beautiful day here. It was a little on the cooler side, but perfectly sunny and a bit of a breeze. There's one of the other Red Funnel ferries. It takes 1 hour to get across to the island from Southampton to East Cowes, and as long as it's fairly calm and sunny, it's quite pleasant to sit up on deck here and watch the world go by. Now, coming into Cowes, you'll find lots of small yachts moored here just in the entrance to Housecover.
Your attention, please. We will shortly be arriving.
There is the little building there with the Union Jack on the front. That is the Small Ships Museum down there. There's often an array of interesting commercial vessels out the front. Lots of expensive properties in West Cowes. Got a great view overlooking the Solent. And now, of course, I need to get across to the other side of Cowes, from East Cowes to West Cowes. And you take the floating bridge, and miraculously, the floating bridge is working. It doesn't travel very far. It's probably about 100 metres, 150 metres. Seems to spend more time out of service than in service. This is a new replacement. It's been here for probably a year or two now, and it's very unreliable. It's not powered by propellers, jet drives, paddles, or anything fancy like that. It has a simple mechanism of a chain that's running through this gully here, right underneath my feet here. You can just about see the chain going through those little holes. There's a couple of rollers, and they pull it through. There we go, we've reached the other side. It's not very far. It does avoid driving up to Newport and back, which I think is about 12 miles. But any excuse to travel on a boat, as you know, shipmates. I don't really need an excuse to go on a boat, do I? So now we've arrived up at Ashey Down, where we can see the sea mark. There is a public path here, apparently. I had to sort of make my way through it. This is a navigational marker that we can see often when we're live streaming on the ship's TVs. We can see all the way from the port of Southampton. It's just on top of the hill, above Cowshot Spit sometimes when the conditions are correct. It is about 18 miles away, so we do need to have good visibility to see it. But it's a wonderful view up here. You can see Portsmouth, Cowshot, Southampton Water. It's all in the distance over there. It was built in 1735 during the reign of George II by the Trinity Board. It's a navigational guide to St Helens Road anchorage at Spit Head. There we go. You can even see, just about make out 1735 there. You should probably have a look at the map so you get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. So here's the port of Southampton right in the centre of our screens. Southampton Water trails along to the southeast, and the sea mark is pretty much in the centre of the east of the island, right over here on top of Ashey Hill. And there it is. And you can see its triangular shape there from the satellite view. Yeah, the view is quite fantastic from here. You can even see right over to the Nab anchorage. It's a little bit hazy today, so we can't quite see that. If you ask me, it could probably do with a lick of paint. I think it's seen better days. It's all sort of peeling off. Possibly with moss and things growing on it. But considering it's not actually very tall, it's amazing that we can see this all the way from the port of Southampton on our cameras. Like I say, it's about 14, 15 miles away. It really could do with a little lick of paint. It's all a bit flaky and crumbly. Not really used today by modern navigators. They'll be using charts and GPSs and so on. But back in the 1735s, this was a great aid to navigation. There we go. That's where our cameras are, over there in the port of Southampton. Can't really see them. Apparently back in the 1800s, around 1806, there was also an Admiralty signal station up here at the same time. Apparently it was just one other number built across the Isle of Wight in the Napoleonic times. So the French naval activity English shout could be signalled to the Portsmouth naval base. Obviously the Isle of Wight being the first line of defence against the invading French. That's why there are a number of forts in the Solent to protect from the invasion of the French. And that's on the east end of the Solent. On the west end of the Solent, the gap is very narrow, and we have Fort Albert and Hurst Castle, and they defend the narrow channel there. But on the east side, where Portsmouth is, there's a much larger expanse of water, so they've built a series of forts in the middle of the Solent, which today are privately owned. I think all of them are. In fact, one of them just sold at auction for £1.2 million. It was a hotel. Some chap from London, who was an investor, decided that on a whim he'd buy a fort in the middle of the Solent. Not sure what he's going to do with it. Turn it into a James Bond island, perhaps? Well, if you fancy a little day trip and the conditions are good, I would recommend a little walk up to Ashey down here, up to the sea mark. It's a great view. It's not too far. It's probably about half a mile. It can be a little bit steep. So make sure you've got suitable footwear. Probably an ideal place to bring a picnic as well. Thought I would film this, take the opportunity to show you what the sea mark is. I've mentioned it quite a few times in broadcast when we see it. It's not often we see it, and the conditions have to be good. You'll have good visibility. And there you go, you can see this triangular mark in the distance. The white top and the black bottom. I can't really distinguish that much, but it is definitely visible in the distance. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that one, shipmates. I've got the old Iron Horse back on the ferry, heading back to the Big Island. Till next time, shipmates.